Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. I thought today we would talk about some server issues that have been going on in War Thunder, probably because there's a ridiculous amount of people playing right now and trying to get the marker distinctions for the Winter Tales event. I've been having server issues in air, in ground, and also in naval. So I've been doing all of the marks of distinction, getting everything done. Ended up getting the vehicles yesterday, which was quite nice. But yeah, we're just sat here, unfortunately, in a miasma where half of the time when playing games, the servers aren't working. And what do I mean by this? So, you saw a clip earlier about in air where people are just phasing around the place because packet loss just turns up out of nowhere. And no, it isn't just my internet connection. My internet connection has not changed. It is very fast, it is very good, and I have not experienced these problems previously, and also other people are experiencing these problems too. So this is not just a me thing. But people are phasing around the place. In naval, especially since I've been playing a lot around 6.0 where there's a lot of shells being fired around the place, I've had so many server disconnects, which means that, you're not able to get more points and you have to sit in the queue more, which sucks in naval because once you get into that kind of rhythm of naval games, you usually don't have to wait for the queue times. But if you get kicked out, then obviously that changes. The ground one is probably the most severe though. This is something that I haven't experienced before actually in ground, but I'm actually having problems in ground too. And this is just on the NA servers, by the way. I haven't seen any issues on the EU servers, but I'm sure people will be having those too. But basically, there was 3 times yesterday, sorry, not yesterday, but the day before, where I was playing my 10-7 British lineup with the Bishmar and also with the Vickers, having a great time, because that lineup is fantastic, and what ended up happening was I went around a corner, and I just got bopped in the face because of the fact that I'd lost connection going around the corner, and even if I was trying to brake, if I was trying to do anything, the vehicle would not stop. So, by the time that I had been sat there and then lost connection and come back into the game, I had died, which means that I had absolutely no control over what was going on. Now, obviously, from War Thunder's point of view, it's an online game, and these fundamentals have to work properly. Otherwise, there is no faith when it comes to the game itself, and it actually becomes pretty frustrating to play. When core parts of the game don't work, it basically gets you annoyed, right? As it should do. If you are told that something is supposed to work in a certain way and doesn't work in a certain way, then you can't trust anything, and you're basically just going around wondering what is going on. So yeah, it's one of those things which is a bit of a problem. And in general, for War Thunder, I hope that they try and fix this, or I hope that they do what they did a few years ago. Because if you don't remember, the NA servers, this isn't something new. The NA servers, for a while, have had problems in terms of trying to get all of this stuff to work. So number one was a few years ago during Kofefi. What ended up happening was during the evening times, and this was only during the evening times, it was about from 5 p.m. PST to about 7 or 8 p.m. PST. These servers took a hell of a long time trying to load people in and also to actually play the game. This meant that some people got loaded in very early on, got to great positions, and then they basically got to control the game, where everybody else just got annihilated, and there was nothing that you could do to change it. So you would load into a game, and then if you couldn't load properly and it took ages, you're in a very weak position, and also if you left, you got crew locked, which is another thing that's been happening in these matches too. Crew locking, especially in naval. If there are too many shots being fired at once and the good old servers can't handle it and you get kicked out, guess what? You get crew locked. And I understand that people don't like crew lock for many reasons. For me, I see it as a necessary evil. I'm not too worried about it. I think generally it's fine. But in this situation, when the game is not working properly, it really grinds the gears. It really means that it's just really annoying to set up. And these types of things do make me want to play other games. Like when we talk about War Thunder, generally, as long as the core parts of the game work, I have a fantastic time. During this event, doing the marks of distinction, it's been really fun playing a bunch of naval. It's been really fun playing a bunch of ground. and it's been really fun playing a bunch of air. I've had a fantastic time, and also doing stuff like Operation Nasir and the Pages of History stuff, and also getting to level 150 on the Battle Pass. It's been a really fun festive period because things have generally been working. But now these server issues are starting to creep in, now that the player base is getting up to a very high level, and also on the weekends, of course, it's kind of peaking at 230 to 250,000 people for these events. It's making the game very, very tough to play. And I'm just hoping that they do something about it. And last time when it came to the NA servers, they opened up a different server cluster somewhere, probably in Chicago, because I actually had better ping, where most of the servers generally are more on the east coast of things when it comes to America. Maybe they can add more infrastructure, maybe they can do something to try and quell this issue, because it's been a problem, as I said, for War Thunder ongoing, and if War Thunder keeps continuing to increase over and over and over again in size, maybe this is something worth going into. There's also something about, bringing up server clusters in different places. If you have a look at something like Valve, for example, which I know is a mega massive corporation, you can see that for stuff like Dota, they have servers all over the place. And that means that matchmaking is generally better as long as there is a pool of players there, and it just means it's a bit more fair on the individual. And one of the problems that War Thunder has is it doesn't have the luxury of having a ton of kind of shots or a ton of things happen at the same time. So this means that people who have worse ping or people have generally worse server connection, they are going to experience a lot of issues in terms of firing shells but not firing shells compared to the enemy, and so on and so forth. And it's always nice to get lower ping, it's always nice to improve internet connections to these things. But this is normally something that I don't experience too much. It's something that I know a lot of other people do, especially in different areas of the world, but this is new to me. It affecting ground and air and naval. It's usually quite big in naval. It usually has quite an impact, especially on the BRs that I play, because of the simple fact that they have a lot of rounds going on, especially the cruisers at the moment. There's a lot of firepower, a lot of stuff going around, so it kind of makes sense if the server breaks. But stuff like ground should not be breaking, or aviation, especially in Aerialistic, where there's a lot less actions going on. And if this continues, it will just continue to get people annoyed, just like I am right now. We're on the last stretch. There's 2 marks of distinction left. People are getting their vehicles. They get to have fun in stuff like the TheEuropeanCanadian, the Kafia, and also the Kirishima. So it would be nice if we could just leisurely have a good few days with this. But at the moment, that is not the case. So hopefully we can, but we'll see. As always, if you have been having issues, please let me know so I can pass on the information. And I hope you have a wonderful day. I'll see you next time. I'd just like to thank GMG Smiley, CD Beans, Chieftain Mike, EMN3 Galaxy, Tulio Pontecorvo, Brendan Quinn, Carrion Crow, Gus Irenicus, Pyman, Wartinder, Teddy, Daniel Stanton, Martinez, B. Young, Ozzy Panzer, Alan Hacker, Liam Shear, Opium Prime, Lafouche, Sem Aslan, Uncle Bean, and Derek R. for supporting the channel.